Well, before I even drive this car, I need to play with these extras. I hate this exhaust tip. Either have dual exhaust or have something not stupid. There we go. Looks nice. Oh yeah, that's a good intro to the Futo. It's got body roll. It's got, I can already tell it lacks downforce. Not as bad as, say, stock police patrol. Everything I've been told is this car handles really well, though. The lack of downforce makes me think not as good as one would expect. It is very light. Yeah, see, I have to lift it at times if I can get the flip here. It's finicky. I mean, it has to be really lacking in that. Oh, I gotta lift the tire there. Fuck! See, I don't like cars that do that. God damn, this thing's brake locks so quick. But Grant, I was doing a high angle turn there, but this thing is pretty narrow. Let me see how it compared to, say, Chevy Impala. Impalas are very narrow, so if I'm... Oh, yeah. Oh, I like this. Okay, so I'm extra narrow. I don't weigh anything, but I lack downforce. My brakes lock extremely quickly. Way too much of a front bias, no ABS. Hello. Oh, fuck this! Engine sound is to be expected. It does feel nimble in spite of everything, though. I really... A bit of oversteer. Not prepared.
Oh, me dangerous? You're deadly, bro.
Song rocks. This might actually be my favorite song on Radio Broker. It reminds me of Devo. More guitar in the background. It's a great song. Oh man, with ABS and downforce improvements, this thing is... I can see this thing being really, really effective. I like how it looks in gold. Spoiler, I don't like the exhaust, so I removed it. This also means I don't have a seat, but you hardly look there anyway, so... Small price to pay, I suppose. Oh yeah. Wish I had paintable wheels. Now, remember what I said about this car going all in with a small approach? You get the best of both worlds. No, not the best. You get the worst and the best. Look at how terrible this ground clearance is. This is shit. This is not enough for anything. This suspension, yeah, it's got a decent amount of travel, but you're not going to get much more ground clearance out of this. I mean, obstacle crossing is something that needs to be carefully planned. Case in point, I just barely hopped over them. Okay, that's called not having enough downforce. And I played with the extras earlier. I wasn't recording, but even adding the roll cage, it doesn't do anything. It's visual, so you can't get out of it by doing that. I imagine its center of gravity value is actually slightly positive. I'm gonna guess 0.04. See how it just kind of flies around? This is not how a small sport coupe drives. I mean, I will say the wheels do look good, they're proportional, but it could do with a little bit more ground clearance. But remember, just because of the low diameter wheels and the low profile tires, you aren't gonna get more ground clearance. But the wheel arches are too small, so I can't just jack it up to 17s or something, because then it looks stupid. God, this song rocks. I do like this car's handling, though. I see why I passed on it before, though. It has all the cons and all the pros. It's almost too extreme. It's too small for GTA 4. It gets pushed around very easily. It doesn't have enough downforce to hold its own, and that also hurts the handling. It definitely handles it. It is quick in a straight line. Not, oh my god levels, but enough to really keep pace and outrun other cars. This odd compact sport. There's no other car like this in the game. This reminds me of almost an E30. BMW 3 Series. See, like its torque value isn't even that high. It doesn't need to be. I bet this thing's mass is, what, 1,400 kilograms? If that, I'll be shocked if it's any higher than that. It's so... it feels so hamstrung. Also notice how I get the tires to clip under full lock, full compression. See? That to me says ground clearance is lacking as well. I mean, not that clipping is only related to cars that lack ground clearance. That's beside the point. Let's see if I can't make you drive better, Mr. Futo. You definitely are one. Can I handle this? Okay then. It definitely drives like nothing else. Almost, actually, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a Buffalo Light. It's narrower, but it has less ground clearance. It's lighter, and it's not quite as quick as a Buffalo, but on a class-by-class basis, I can see this thing cleaning up very nicely. Obviously, there's the other part of it, though. It's not heavy enough to push things out of the way or withstand a lot of impacts. I mean, it spins out easily. That's the wheelbase, that second part. That's what I mean, though. There's a certain meta in this game, and this car fits parts of it, but when you also combine the problems, the obvious problems it has, the just god-awful ground clearance, and lack of downforce on top of that, like, fuck you. If you have low ground clearance, at least have really good downforce. I have neither. It takes, obviously, part of the problem is you're also pretty fast, but because you also have really, really bad brake setups, the pedal is sensitive, but it has too much front bias. So, if you're not careful, you slide. I'm not trying to be an idiot. This car is just very crash happy, which is funny because it's very narrow. So, see what I mean? It fits the meta, but not in the way that you expect it to. Like, cars that partially fit the meta, I think will always be flawed fundamentally on some level. See there? That's called lack of downforce and lack of ground clearance. Kind of got upset by that. I expect the car to, react. I expect to see the suspension working. I do not expect it to get thrown around. All in all, this is easily fixable, though. You'll see. A lot better now. You might not know, but I changed a bunch of things. The first, you had a little bit too much slip angle when drifting before the car would spin out. I think it's called traction delta max. What that should say is maximum allowed slip angle or something for breakaway. No, seriously, this is so much better. ABS standard, less front bias. It just feels so unbelievably agile now, which makes sense. The curb weight, I was right. The curb weight is 1,400 kilograms on the nose. I didn't just pull that out of my ass. Well, I did, but I haven't looked at the data files before I did that. Surprisingly, the downforce was negative 0.10, which isn't bad, but I made it negative 0.20, I think negative 0.25. So it's not going to do that bullshit when it lifts mid-corner, or if you hit a big bump, it will catch air, but not over things that shouldn't. Oh my god.
Watch out, yo!
It's so different from other cars I drive. It doesn't feel crash happy now, though.
How did you not see?
A little bit extra ground clearance helps, although that's still really bad. I mean, that's not a lot of ground clearance at all. What's even more hilarious, the fact that this car had a reverse ring. In other words, the front was sitting higher than the rear bone stock. I got rid of that, obviously. But even with that, the ground clearance bone stock was still extremely bad. It's amazing when you consider it. I think that's hilarious. Luis is sitting on air. Need something up tempo. Don't make me use Windows Media Player. brakes feel much better now, though. They're not. I mean, they're quick, but they're not grabby. There's a very, very fine line between them. Oh, I love this song. God, it's so narrow. You can fit it this anywhere. It's brilliant. It's still so fragile. It's still a Futo. But it handles, and it actually drives like a car now. Fucking full try-hard mode. It likes to shed parts, too. As you can see. Build quality, what is that? I also love how complex its taillights are and how much taillight it has relative to the tiny amount of rear fascia. It's such an odd car. It only makes sense to somebody who likes small sports cars, but seriously, this thing drives really good. I mean, it's not my type, and it does not fit the meta in all the ways, but it fits the meta in the ways that matter. Average speed. Ooh, here we go. Yeah, baby. Let's play this shit all the way from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5, 1, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cop car in the water, I seen that. Drive one-handed. Futo.exe. I didn't even turn the maximum slip angle down that much. I went from 14.5 to 14.2, but you do feel the difference. Of course, I'm using new controls. Yeah. In before console peasant. No, it's called precise driving. I will always take this over a keyboard. 4 is such a nuanced game, and I refuse to be, we'll say, gimped by something that I have control. Absolutely. 34, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. Now, can we handle this? Yes, barely. If I had more goggles, I would have launched straight. That is kind of a goofy ramp, but a little drunk, but that's not a big. Oh, okay, that's a landslide. See how it sticks to the road now, though? It doesn't go flying. I love this. It's like an ultimate mismatch. There's Boxville versus Futo. He literally weighs 3 times more than me, at least. I'm much narrower. He also has ground clearance, and I don't. But I have energy. No, I don't have energy. I have full steam space machine. Yeah, that works.
Come on, man, dangerous. You're deadly, bro.
It's so, like, it's so weird. The car feels twitchy now, but it's an even more extreme Futo. But with none of the flaws. I wouldn't say none of the flaws. It still has shit ground clearance. It's very fragile. But wow, this is a scalpel. This is a scalpel in a medium-sized sword fight game. So it kind of works. It's almost a super light. There's things that deviate too far from the meta, either in light or heavy. Oh, look at that recovery though. Look, I didn't even weight transfer. Yeah, that's the power of downforce. That's innate correction of bad courses in midair. Yeah, this thing really needed that downforce. God damn, it handles well. I mean, I'll go back to driving one-handed and sip on some more beer here. She just goes. It's such a weird car. The drive force is 0.20? That's insane. That power to weight ratio is that's the best power to weight ratio in the game. Second only to the cop. So that should tell you. That should tell you a lot. Here we go. Open the taps. I can split lanes so easily with this thing. You can be half asleep and still split lanes half-decently. But if you mess up, you will take a lot of damage. It's always, that's what I mean, the car, it's too extreme.
Can someone tell me why?
It's awe-inspiring. Am I already smoking? I'm smoking after 2 hits. That's shocking. That's a good song right here. Can I set it a little more up-tempo? No. Good song, though. No, it's not a song. Not quite. Oh, for crying out loud. Don't make me go through the radio stations now. This isn't bad. This thing handles like, seriously, this is such an interesting car. This is what you're missing in the later GTA games, motherfuckers. You're missing nuanced, interesting handling. Now, yes, I will get there eventually with 5, but this PC can't quite run it the way I need. I want to run 5 at over 75 FPS consistently, and I can't do that with an i5 6500 and a Radeon RX 590, I believe. That's what I'll look up. See, this is sad. I should know my own specs. I built this fucking thing. So, oh well. Sorry, man. I'm just a data file of gameplay editor. God, I love how this is the ultimate lane splitting car. Lane splitting, and on paper at least, average speed. As long as you don't have too many vertical obstacles, this thing is ridiculous. See, watch this. See, it'll still throw itself into the air. The suspension doesn't have enough travel, even after increasing ground clearance. And, I mean, gosh, I can't give it that much more travel. It's such an interesting car. I mean, it's not something I would keep in my garage. Absolutely not. It doesn't fit the meta. It's too small. It's too fragile. Just drive a Buffalo. I mean, if you're going to drive something that, if you like the style of driving, just drive a Buffalo. It's faster. Yes, it's a bigger target, but I have better ground clearance, not to mention better suspension travel. Bone stock. And no, I will not be changing anything on this civilian Buffalo. That car is fine where it is. Golly, this car is something else. I bet this thing is an absolute fucking savage and broken. Well, you know where we're going now. I'm going to show you how good this thing is at lane splitting. Look at how much room I have to maneuver. Reversing 180 is really well for a rear-wheel drive car. Oh, good camera for driving. I like this angle. Too bad I can't drive like it. Oh, I love this song. Let's do this. Full try-hard mode in 15 seconds. There is something that I want to know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this is a bad idea. You have the answer. Why are there cars in the way? No, tell me. What? Headshot. Headshot. Do you want a funk? Do you want a funk? Won't you tell me now? Won't you tell me now? If you want a funk, I can show you how. Do you want a funk with me? Yeah, I'm definitely drunk now. I don't give a fuck. Watch how this thing dominates the terrain, by the way. This is gonna be fun. You just have to be really, really, really careful. You're narrow, but you can't handle a lot of bumps. Broker isn't a good burrow for this, although the power-to-weight ratio is extremely good. Oh, I know what car I'm going to do next. Well, yeah, there's probably 7 cars left. Fortune P600, Hakumai. Will you stay? Or will you go away? I love the video. This song's amazing. Oh, yeah. Oh, I feel so happy. And if I get spotted, I get spotted. I don't really care. Do you want a funk? Don't you tell me now. Tree! Want a funk with me? Oh, double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent handling in the dirt. Very forgiving. Really no bad behavior here, even when ham-fisted. It's a really weird but really good car. If you like super, I don't like super light. I like full size, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I memorized the solo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm the one for that. If you want a funk, I can show you how. Do you want it? It's like Steve Roll. Gotta be careful with light posts too. Look out. That you're really something, Futo. Will you stay? Or will you go away? Don't go away. Yeah, I get way too into this. Handle that. Still see how it kind of got a little goofy there. Do it again. See, that's called not enough ground clearance. I'm down force. I just don't have the ground clearance. Won't you tell me now? Full throttle. I don't care. Yo, that is hilarious to watch. Do you wanna funk? Ow, that's a tree. Here. Oh god, its suspension. This thing is so fragile. See what it means? It doesn't really fit the meta. It's good, but I mean, very good if you like super light. I just made the best super light in the game better, but an F620 is probably a better choice unless you are just super paranoid of not being able to split lanes and fitting into narrow spaces. But this really, when I think of this, I think of an overgrown motorcycle because there's all of the benefits of a light vehicle and literally every single downside. It's an interesting car, though. I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. I wouldn't own you, Futo, but I'm everything you do is valid, and you're a good car. You're just not a good car for me.